Participants at a roundtable to map a pathway towards and improve transparency in the management and governance of Ghana's fisheries have advocated the need for Ghana to sign on to the Fisheries Transparency Initiative, also known as the FITI. Now, transparency and accountability are key to transforming fisheries in Ghana. Now, the FITI is a global initiative to support national, regional, and global efforts to increase transparency and participation in fisheries governance for the benefit of a more sustainable management of marine fisheries. According to participants, the FITI would provide comprehensive leadership for the country to achieve and maintain high level of transparency, which were key to transforming the fisheries sector. The roundtable, which was on the theme Improving Transparency and Accountability in the Governance of Ghana's Fisheries, brought together civil society organizations, industry players, policymakers, and regulators. It was organized by the Environmental Justice Foundation, HEN Mpoano, Oxfam, Care International, and Friends of the Nation, with Fa Juma Nkodo and Fa Bambo as the implementing partners of the EU-funded project. The roundtable was organized with the objective of catalyzing stakeholder interest in advocating for greater transparency in Ghana's fisheries sector, and also to increase their understanding of the benefits of enhanced transparency in the governance of natural resources in the context of economic development. It was also to assess measures and initiatives implemented in Ghana to improve transparency in the mining and the oil and gas sectors, draw lessons from best practices as entry points for fisheries, and identify the extent of transparency challenges in the fisheries sector. The participants stressed the need to build the capacity of stakeholders for them to appreciate systems and governance issues. Speaking on how to apply the principle of transparency and accountability to fisheries management and governance in Ghana, Mr. Kofi Agboga, the director of HEN Mpoano, called for urgent reforms in the fisheries sector. The reforms, he said, required transparency, participation, and accountability by all stakeholders in the sector, saying there must be an additional enabling environment for Ghana as a leading fishing nation in Africa to sign on to the FITI. He further said this FITI would go a long way to address the perennial concerns of fisheries data collection and reporting, vessel ownership, and licensing concerns, the Fisheries Development Fund, and the pervasive illegal transshipment concerns. Now, in the fisheries sector, there's so much opacity, criminality, and illegality just because of lack of transparency in the dealings. So, transparency in the fisheries is very important. As a matter of fact, it is another form of getting our managers and regulators to ensure licensing, persecution, and the like are done right, he stated. Mrs. Andrea Dogelo, a representative from FITI, said lack of transparency undermined the quality and credibility of decision making, increased uncertainty for investment and consumers, and marginalized certain fisheries subsectors. The participants deliberated on a number of issues, including the gaps in transparency in fisheries in Ghana, mechanisms that could enhance transparency and accountability, and also priority areas for improving the transparency and accountability in the fisheries sectors, among others. There was also the need to educate on safe fishing practices, like the avoidance of the use of DDT and other DDT-like chemicals in fishing. This was also key because most of these types of chemicals were destroying our fish. Thank you for listening and watching Garland News Base.